Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I really hope you're all doing okay and having a great day and amazing week. My name is Effy and today we are doing a testing W7 Cosmetics makeup video. I've decided to start without any makeup on my face. Let me know if you prefer intros where the makeup's on already or starting from fresh and we go through it together. Let me know your thoughts on that. But I'm happy to get started on the video. We have a lot to test. A lot of the stuff in this video was very kindly sent to me by W7, but I did also buy a lot of it, so I will try to remember to tell you when things were sent to me. But if I forget, I do tend to put a little asterisk in the description box next to the items that were sent to me in PR. But anyway, other than that, obviously my opinion won't change based on whether it was sent to me or not, because it doesn't matter whether it was sent to me or not. What matters is how good it is. So let's go and find out together. If you enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. I'm attempting to put out one video a week, but we will see how it goes. Drop me a comment down below, let me know how your week is going. But other than that, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the eyes, and we're going to go in with the eye primer, which is the I Got the Power All Day Wear Eyeshadow Base Primer. I have used this before, this isn't a first impression, but most of the things in this video are. I haven't used it that many times, so I actually can't remember what I think. Okay, that's on my lid now. Honestly, it's not my favourite feeling eye primer in the world. It actually feels a little bit greasy. Because I went in with too much, I did just go in and pat over it with my finger, and just based on that, it feels a little bit greasy, but we will see how it goes with the eyeshadow. And for eyeshadow, this product was sent to me, the eye primer wasn't. This is the Cool Down, the Coolest Shades 40 Pressed Pigment palette of pigments pressed. It's an eyeshadow palette with a bunch of cool tones in it. I love cool tones. Let's take the plastic off together. I haven't touched it. I try my best not to like swatch products before I've tried them on camera because I think it's rude. You guys deserve to be here too. Okay, I will do a couple of swatches. I will say the shimmers don't look very impressive to me right now. Also, in terms of this palette, this is the Cool Down, but I do also have the Mardi Gras palette, which was a dupe of the Stacey Marie Carnival 3 Love to Heat You palette. So I do have that as well, and I actually don't mind that palette at all. I actually think it's quite good. So let's do some swatches. We'll do 2 mattes, 2 shimmers. That's a shimmer called Composed, and it actually felt very nice. We'll go for another shimmer. I want to try this one called Diamond. It's almost like a glitter or a sequin type shade. And then 2 mattes. We will go for the grey called Arctic, and we will go for Chillax, which is a bit more of a rosy shade. They don't look bad. There they are there, just on my hand. None of them look amazing, and the shimmers look fine. But it's all about how they apply on the eyes, so let's give it a go. Do I know what look I'm going to do? No. So I'm going to start with the shade Time Out. That sort of looks like a nice cool tone brown. And we're just going to put this fully through the crease on a nice fluffy brush. All of my brushes are stained. I do have the intention of cleaning them this week, but whether or not it actually happens is a different matter. That's actually gone on quite nicely. It's done exactly what I wanted it to. It sort of has just given me a nice base colour to work from. I kind of want to keep this quite like greyish-y, so I'm going to go with this shade here called Stiffen, and then I'm going to like stick to like these shades down here. That's actually gone on really nicely, blended really well. If this palette keeps performing like this, I'm going to be very happy because I love cool toned eyes. What I will say about this palette is the shimmers aren't that interesting to me, because what I normally do with a cool toned eye is I'll do a cool tone like matte shades and run them through the crease and then put pretty much any colour on the lid. I'm talking like green, blues, purples, anything I want, usually to match whatever top I'm wearing to work. So these cool toned matte shades are really, really working well for me. I'm very happy about it. Now I'm going in with Control, and I'm going to build this up a little bit on the outer and inner corners, sort of to make a very soft halo eye. I'm not doing a proper halo eye, it's too much work. Again, that's gone on really nicely. The only complaint I have so far is that the last 2 shades, because they are very similar, they are blending into each other a little bit. But that could be my bad. Like, I chose 2 shades that were very, very, very similar to each other. But I am really liking the overall look. Like, I'm getting depth, I'm getting cool tonedness It's looking really nice. I think it's a little bit washed out on camera, but I am truly getting the depth that I want in person, and I'm finding it's not like sticking, which I sometimes find happens with cool tone shades. They sort of like stick to certain areas of your eye and look a bit weird. I'm not having that issue. What I'm going to do now is go in with a shimmer on the lid, and then I'm going to do like a wing using one of the darker shades. So for the shimmer on the lid, I'm sort of torn between Check Yourself, Wet, Chill Pill and Restrain. They all look quite nice, to be fair. I think I'm going to have to go for Chill Pill, just because I think the silver would work really nicely. Let me just check. Yeah, I'm going to go for Chill Pill. And I'm only going to put a very small amount on the lid. Like I said, I want this to be a very like soft halo eye. I don't want it to be too intense. There we go. I actually really like that. I'm just going to go back in with the last shade I used, which was Control, and just sort of blend the edges a little bit. There we go. I'm really enjoying that. I know I said a second ago I was going to do a liner using the palette. I'm actually not, because I have an eyeliner to test and that would be counterproductive. So there we go, that's all I'm going to use this palette for. Oh, actually, inner corner highlight. Let's just find one I can use. Annoyingly, I actually think the best colour to use would be Chill Pill, because a lot of the other shimmers are a bit too dark. But this one here called On Ice is like a sequiny shade. It is white, but I'm going to give it a go. That's not too bad. I'm actually just going to put a tiny little bit just on the centre of my lid as well. That's quite nice. I'm going to go off camera and do the other eye now. I'll come back when I match a little bit better. See you in a moment. Okay, complete honesty, I just filmed my makeup up until the point of about just before I powdered my face, and then my memory card decided it wasn't going to save any of it. So I realise this now isn't a first impression, but I have just removed the makeup that was on my face. It's now nice and clean again, and we're going to do it all over again, because basically I thought you might as well see me applying the products and see how they apply, even if it is a second time around. So first thing I'm going in with is the lip balm. This is the Sweet Dreams with vitamin E, aloe vera and grapeseed oil. I quite like this product. It's very similar to a product I have from Lottie London, which I really like. The only thing I don't like about it is the scent. It's meant to be strawberry scented. It's very like artificial, sweet, not real strawberry, which I can get past, because actually while I was sitting with it on my lips doing the rest of my face, I couldn't smell it, so it's fine. It feels very nice. It's very like thin. It almost feels like an oil once it melts into your lips. I actually really like that. That product was very kindly sent to me by W7, so yeah. Then for primer, we have the Glow Prime Radiant Primer, and I'm just going to put this on my face. It looks like this. It has a bit of like pigment to it, but once you blend it out, you can't really tell. You do end up with like tiny little glitters all over your face, but they're not that bad, and it smells like watermelon. And when I say you end up with tiny little glitters all over your face, it's not too noticeable. And once you put foundation over the top, it's really not noticeable at all. I was worried that based on the colour of it, it would sort of give me like a I've just rubbed fake tan in my face sort of look, but it doesn't do that in my opinion. It feels very nice. It feels very hydrating actually. The smell of watermelon is very strong, but I don't mind it. Again, it's sort of like an artificially sweet watermelon smell, so do with that what you will. Then for foundation, I don't have a W7 one to test, so I'm going in with the e.l.f. Flawless Satin Foundation in Pearl, but I am using a W7 sponge, which is obviously a dupe of the Real Techniques sponge. This is my Real Techniques one, but it's dry. I actually think the W7 one is a little bit bigger than the Real Techniques one when they're both wet, but obviously my Real Techniques one is dry, so I can't confirm that. It's just how I feel about it. The sponge actually works really well. I don't think I would be able to tell the difference between this and my Real Techniques sponge. I was expecting this to be a lot harder, a lot more dense, a lot more difficult, but actually I think they work very, very similarly. There we go. Can't really talk about the foundation because it's not a W7 product, but the sponge does work really nicely. I'm happily going to keep using that. The next product we have is the Lift and Sculpt Face Shaping Contour Palette. Like I said, I did do this stage, so it's already been swatched. But essentially there's 3 highlight shades. I think this one is too dark for me realistically, but these 2 are fine. This one is a bit yellow, so I didn't actually use it. But this one I'm just going to pop under my eyes and sort of around the areas that I would normally conceal. And so basically just use it as a concealer. I'm going to apply it the exact same way I did the first time round, and that is I'm going to do one eye with a fluffy brush and the other eye with my finger to see if it makes a difference. So we start with the fluffy brush. I'm just sort of getting a load on the brush and then just sort of going in, starting with light pressing motions and then very light swipes. As for the colour, I think it's actually a really good shade for me. It's not too bright, it's not too dark, it just looks like a normal concealer. Also, I'm just going to cover up this spot here because it's huge. And it does a decent enough job at covering it, bearing in mind how dark the spot is. I don't think that's too bad at all. I'm also going to try and cover this one on my neck. Again, considering how bad the spot is, not too shabby. Now on the other eye I'm going in with my finger. I do think going in with your finger helps just to sort of warm up the product and help it look a little bit less dry, because I do think it looks a little bit dry on this eye. But then I did also mention this eye does have a little bit more dryness under it anyway. I don't know why, it's just having its own moment. But yes, this works really nicely with your finger. I personally just don't like applying makeup with my hands. It's just not fun for me. Just going in with my sponge just to sort of help blend it all. And then in the areas where I normally conceal, sort of around my nose, little bits on my forehead, I'm just going to go in with the fluffy brush again. And a really light amount of product, I don't think I need a lot. It is very thick, I wouldn't want to use too much of it, I think it could look bad. And like I said, it's not like the most, what's the word? What's the opposite of dry? Moist? I don't want to say moist. It's not the most, like, hydrating, that's better. It's not the most hydrating formula in the world. I do think it is a little bit dry. Now, the bronzer side. So there are 3 shades. We have bronzer, contour and contour, if I just swatch them. So bronzer, contour, contour. And I put them on my hand. So this is bronzer, contour, contour. I think the middle shade is going to work best for me. I will say, when I did it the first time around, it did not work very well at all. It sort of just looked orange and terrible. So I'm going to attempt to do it better, but we'll see how it goes. I might mix these 2 shades a little bit just because the darker shade is a bit more cool toned. I'm also going to dab excess on the back of my hand. Make sure my brush is fully coated. And then I'm going to go in with like little swirly motions and hope that's a bit better. That is a lot better. The first time around it sort of just left like an orange stripe on my face. And this is working a lot better. I do definitely think it's too warm to be a contour. It's definitely more of a bronzer shade for me and my skin tone. But this is going a lot better than the first time around. I personally would say that I would prefer a heavier bronze contour than this, but I also don't want to risk going in too much. I'm just going to put a tiny bit under my jaw. Honestly, using this palette the second time around has gone a lot better, which, you know what, kind of helps in terms of first impressions, because your first impressions, you don't always know how to use a product. I certainly don't anyway. So yeah, I think having the second impression in this video as well is actually really good. Now I'm very quickly going to set my base. I do not have a powder from W7, so I'm going in with the Barry M Ready Set Smooth powder in translucent, I assume. All powdered down, and actually I don't think it looks too bad. I think I was worried that powdering it down would make it look terrible. It looks fine. It looks quite nice actually. Very smooth. I don't look like I have like dry patches, apart from under this eye, but like I said, there's dry patches there anyway. I think that's fine. I actually quite like how my base looks. The bronzer isn't my favourite, just putting that out there. But other than that, let's move on. We have this palette, which I actually bought myself. This is the Sculpt Power The Cheek face palette. This is a dupe of a Benefit product, but it does have a bronzer, 2 highlights I think, and a blush. Let's try and get this plastic off. Okay, so in this palette we have a bronzer, the Honolulu bronzer, we have the Rebel blush, which actually looks like it has a bit of shimmer in it, a Shy, and a cheeky highlight. Now, the Honolulu bronzer, W7 did very kindly send me a full size of it, but because it's in here I'm not going to use it. I did also get a mini of it in the advent calendar, which I'm also not going to use because I'm just going to use this palette, so this will go into a future giveaway. In terms of highlights, I also have this one, which is the W7 Glow Commotion, which came from the advent calendar, which looks darker than this highlight here. So the Glow Commotion one will go into a future giveaway. And basically I'm just going to use this palette. I don't have another blush from W7, so I'm going to be using Honolulu bronzer, Rebel blush, and Shy highlighter. I think that's reasonable. So we'll start with the bronzer. Okay, I actually think that's not too bad. I will say I went in with a little bit too much on my chin, but I did just blend it out and go over it with my makeup sponge, so it wasn't too bad. I quite like the colour. What I will say is it is very warm, and I don't know if I'd be able to get away with it every day, especially not in winter, which is, it'll be here before we know it. But actually I think it's quite an interesting shade. It's not like, it's almost, oh sorry I keep knocking the camera, it's almost like a yellowy shade, which I normally like in a bronzer, but I'm just not quite so sure on this one, but I'll keep using it and see how it goes. So we're going in with Rebel. We're just going to go with it. I won't go in with too much because it does look a little bit dark. But let's see. I actually quite like that. It's not as in your face as I thought it was going to be. It is very pigmented, but I think it's quite nice. And I honestly don't think I have a blush in this sort of shade. I could be wrong, but I don't think I do. And I actually quite like it. That one gets a thumbs up from me. And now for highlight, we're going to go in with Shy, which honestly still looks a little bit too dark for my skin tone, but it's the lightest one I have, so we're just going to give it a go. Ooh. Ooh, I actually think that's fine for my skin tone. It doesn't seem to be giving me a cast. No, you can't see it when I face forward. But that is really, really pretty. It's quite like subtle-ish. It's not subtle, but it's not like too much, if you get what I mean. You know what? This palette I actually really enjoy. The darker highlight, never going to use that, it's too dark for me. The bronzer, a little bit warm, but I reckon with a light hand I can get away with it. The blush I actually really like, and the highlight is stunning. This was really good, and it's not that expensive. I should have said at the start, W7 is not an expensive brand, it's actually really, really cheap. So yeah, maybe consider giving them a go. What I'm going to do now is go off camera, do my brows, finish up my lower lash line, and then we'll come back to do mascara, liner and lips. See you in a moment. I am back. I've done my brows. I just used the MUA Brow Define brow pencil in mid brown and the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. What else did I do? I did my lower lash line. I was going to use this in this video. It is the Flick and Grip W7 2-in-1 adhesive eyeliner. I don't fancy doing eyeliner. I also don't fancy wearing lashes. So I might save this for either another testing video or like a TikTok or a short or something like that. And as we're on the topic of things I'm not using in this video, I actually have the W7 Bare All palette. Bare All, which is a dupe of Huda Beauty. This will come up in a future video somewhere else, but obviously not being used today because I've used the Cool Tone palette. So now I have 2 mascaras to choose from. This one came in the advent calendar and it is the Eye Lust. I can't really read it because it's green on pink. It looks yellow on camera, but it is like green on pink and it's very difficult to read. It hurts my eyes. And we have the Flirty Eyes False Lash Effect Mascara. I think I'll try this one, and then if I don't like it, I'll try this one. So yeah, we'll start with the Eye Lust. It's the ultimate mascara for sexy eyes. That's what I was going for today. It's a Sunday as I'm filming this. My boyfriend is on holiday, and the only time I plan on potentially leaving the house today is to go to Tesco. Not really going for that sexy eye look. This brush is huge. That is ginormous. It's absolutely massive. We'll give it a go. Okay, pros and cons. Issues, the brush is huge. It's very difficult to get it close to your eye without like hurting yourself. And because of that, because it's so messy, I've got it like all over my eyelid. Which I guess is fine. It's not the biggest issue in the world. However, I quite like the effect that it's giving. It's not giving much volume at all. If you're looking for a voluminous mascara, this isn't it. However, what it is doing is giving length and separation, and it makes it look like I have loads of eyelashes. Like, this is a natural bristle brush, and does this have fibres in it? I think this might have fibres in it. It kind of looks like it has fibres in it. Okay. It is making my eyelashes look like I have a million of them. And I feel like because of the brush, it's really gripping every lash. It's really coating every lash and separating them out. So I do actually quite like that mascara. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to try the other mascara on my other eye. But yeah, big fan of that one. That might become like my go-to if I'm like travelling anywhere, because it's quite a small mascara. But here we go, this is the other one. This is the Flirty Eyes False Lash Effect Mascara. And this wand looks very different. It's like an hourglass shaped plastic bristles, very short plastic bristles. And I'm going to put it out there now. I don't think I'm going to like this one. Okay, pros and cons again. So, I actually don't hate it as much as I thought I would, which is a pro. I think it definitely gives more volume than the first one I used. I think it does give a little bit more length, but it doesn't give that separation, which I actually quite like in a mascara. The wand is a little bit painful to use. I'm just going to chuck in a little bit more of this one. The wand is a little bit more painful to use. I think what helps it is that the formula isn't too wet. It's actually quite dry, and that helps. But then I did have a few clumps in there that were a bit more difficult. I didn't have that with the first mascara. Overall, I think both are good. I think if you're looking for more volume, the Flirty Eyes is a bit better. If you're looking for more of a natural sort of like wispy look, this one, which is called Eyelust, I prefer. Personally, I think I prefer the Eyelust one, but I will happily keep using both. Now for lips. Oh, actually I have a coal black liner, which actually I am going to put along my lash line to hide the fact that I've smudged mascara up there. So I'm just going to put a little bit. Just... oh, I'm not, because it's not working. It's very dry. I can't remember if this was in PR or if it was in like the advent calendar. Yeah, I'm not going to use it. It's too dry. It's not really working even on my hand. It's a little bit too dry, and I'll probably just mess up my makeup. So yeah, not a fan of that. That was quick and easy. I have 3 lip liners. I will swatch all of the lip products that I have in front of me, and then pick which one I think will work best. So of the 3 lip liners, we have, they're all just called the W7 Lip Twister. This is Malbec. They're called lip twisters, but they're sharpenable, which kind of annoys me. I'm probably going to end up keeping all these because I do tend to keep any lip liner that comes across my path. So that one there is Malbec. I actually quite like that. This one is just called Brown. That one there. They do feel a little bit dry. Putting that out there. And then this one here is just called Pink. Which is that one there. That's actually a really nice pink. It's almost like a dusty pink, which I quite like. Then we have 4 lipsticks. These 2 came in the advent calendars. The lip liners all came in the advent calendar. Lippy, do they have names? They do. So they are both, so we have 2 of them. They're both called Lippy Chic. This one is called Gossip, which is a cool tone brown, which I think might be the winner for today, just based off the eye look. Ooh. Yes, it's almost like a mauvey brown. It's got a little hint of purple in there, which doesn't bother me really. And then this one is in the shade Back Chat, which is more of like a pinky mauve, I guess. Ooh, oh, I actually like that so much. That's such a beautiful colour. Love this. And then this one I bought, which is a dupe for Huda Beauty. This is the Major Matte lipstick in the shade Heartache. Oh, I was expecting it to be more purpley, but we'll swatch it. That was not the colour I was expecting. I don't know how it's coming across on camera, but that is like Barbie pink. It's very, very pink. Okay. And then this one was sent to me, and this is, it just has the name Spark on it. It doesn't have like a brand, like a collection name. But this one, I love the look of it. Ooh, it feels nice as well. Sort of like a greyish purple sort of shade. I think the combo I'm going to go for, just because my eye look is so brown, is I'm going to use the lip liner in brown and then the So Chic Gossip shade. So let's give that a go. Lip liner, not a fan. It's very sharp, very dry. Doesn't feel nice to apply, not creamy at all. Not a fan. Basically just going to stop there. But now let's put on the lipstick. Not the best fan of that. I feel like it's almost too purpley. What I'm actually going to do is just take my sponge and just dab over it a little bit. I kind of look a little bit dead. Which is a bit annoying. I might just go in with a little bit of this just over the top, just because it's not going to match the eyes, but this doesn't either, so yeah. Doesn't match the eyes. Oh well, it never does on these videos. I'm very bad at matching my lips to my eyes. But there we go, that is my full face of W7. Bit all over the place, if I'm being honest. I'm just removing swatches from my hand. But there we go, that is my full face-ish testing W7 makeup. Let me know which products you think are worth trying. Let me know if you have tried the brand. Let me know if there's products that I haven't tried today that you think I should try. But other than that, I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a great day and an amazing week. And if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. I do have some more testing videos coming your way. I'm planning to film some more today. I also have my declutters on the way. I promise they are coming eventually. Maybe in the next few weeks, hopefully. But yeah, if that sounds interesting to you, then please do just hit that subscribe button. But other than that, I'll let you go. Have a great day and amazing week, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.